As a distinct horror subgenre, the werewolf movie spikes in popularity on occasion. This phenomenon is evidenced by the early 80s deluge of quality werewolf flicks, and a more recent revival of the genre came in the early 2000s, with the superb indie Ginger Snaps reimagining the werewolf movie as a puberty metaphor, while Scream director Wes Craven's Cursed reimagined it as a terrible teen movie. And amongst all this cinema history, there are bound to be overlooked gems dotted through the werewolf's time spent on screen. So this list is here to highlight the most underrated movie outings of the humble Wolfman, or woman, over the years. I'm Gareth, this is What Culture Horror, and here are 9 great werewolf movies that nobody ever talks about. Number 9, Silver Bullet. A frequent presence in lists of horror movies both under and overrated, genre legend Stephen King is so prolific that he just knew he had to provide a spin on the enduring werewolf myth in his many years as the reigning king of horror literature. It'd be weirder if he didn't. Coming after a string of successful werewolf movies in the early 80s that exhausted many audiences to the subgenre's appeal, Silver Bullet is a 1985 adaptation of King's little-appreciated novel Cycle of the Werewolf. A small-town werewolf mystery and coming-of-age movie, the film is a superb vehicle for the talents of stars Gary Busey and Corey Haim, melding involving family drama with fast-paced horror elements for a stellar piece of classic King, which deserves to be better remembered. If you like yourself some King and were fun, then you know where to go. Number 8, Wolfen. Released in 1981, Wolfen suffered by comparison to the more mainstream-friendly likes of the previous years' The Howling and An American Werewolf in London. As a result, Woodstock director Michael Wadley's film was largely forgotten, and it's a terrible shame in hindsight. With an ingenious premise of cops versus werewolves, this tense flick proves to be a surprisingly thoughtful crime movie horror mashup, whose grisly murder mystery plot does not get in the way of some interesting philosophy and deep themes. This one won over the likes of legendary critic Roger Ebert and attracted the interest of Dustin Hoffman in its early production, so the cerebral horror meets police procedural is definitely overdue a revisit. So add it to your watch list ASAP, my wolf-loving friends. Number 7, The Wolfman. With a stellar cast and a superb director in the form of Jumanji creator Joe Johnston, 2010's big-budget remake of the original Universal monster movie The Wolfman seemed primed for blockbuster success. After all, who can say no to Emily Blunt in another period piece, a hammy Anthony Hopkins, and a classic, impossible-to-place Benicio del Toro accent, all in the foggy environs of Victoria, London? Well, everyone, apparently, as audiences stayed away in their droves, killing this potential franchise dead, and offing the chances of big-budget R-rated horrors for decades. Thank God for The Invisible Man, eh? This grisly reboot absolutely deserved more love upon release. But it's not too late to check it out and redress that injustice now. Yes, that'll be the first and last time I do that in this list, you'll be pleased to hear. Here's a quick question though, what is your favourite werewolf moment that you've ever seen on the big or small screen? Let me know in the comments right down below. See, I didn't do it. Number 6, Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf. The word great is thrown around a lot these days. Okay, yes, so this surreally silly sequel is not a patch on the original, The Howling, an intense and absurdly dark satirical werewolf thriller released by The Burbs helmer Joe Dante in 1980. But the film's first sequel, Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, takes all the elements of so bad it's good horror and combines them with such a winning, ironic tone and charmingly over-the-top delivery that it becomes a straight-up so good it's good sequel, you know what I mean? Now, the tone could not be further from the first flick's grim intensity, but this film is pure fun from its absurd title through to star Sybil Danning's tongue-in-cheek central performance. Sometimes silly is good, you know. I would know because I've made a career out of it. Number 5, Bad Moon. Underrated upon its release due to its hard-to-categorize genre combination, conversation, 1996's Bad Moon features one of cinema's most underrated werewolf designs in the form of its spectacularly realized and properly terrifying monster. For much of its runtime, however, the Michael Paré starring film is a rare mother and son family story where the pair are, werewolves. Yep, and it's a surprisingly gripping slice of domestic drama outside of all the lycanthropic larks. It all hinges on two brilliant performances from Paré and Marielle Hemingway, who effortlessly elevate potentially silly material into poignant and affecting territory, wherein the tragic elements meld well with their horror counterparts. A delicate, well-balanced gem, and an underrated one, it must be said. If you're having all of the fun looking at these wonderful werewolf movies that not enough people talk about, then hit that subscribe button right down below and you'll get even more of this sort of brilliant what culture horror stuff on your YouTube machine in the future. And that sounds like the sort of future worth howling about to me. Number 4, The Company of Wolves. Coming from the chameleon-like Irish director Neil Jordan, the helmet of everything from The Crying Game to Michael Collins to Interview with a Vampire, 1984's The Company of Wolves is another unexpected left-field success for the filmmaker's varied oeuvre. A sexy gothic fantasy take on lycanthropy, it's another nascent sexuality metaphor one. This collection of stories is adapted from Angela Carter's twisted, distinctly adult fairy tale reimaginings. Here, Red Riding Hood takes command of her own appetite in an intense, scary, and explicitly sexual story of maturity, responsibility, and temptation, which skirts with dark themes but never veers too far into disturbing territory or corny, pure fantasy. Sound like your kind of thing? Then get it watched and tell your friends to do the same. Then you'll all be talking about it, and then it won't show up in lists like this. Number 3, Late Phases. A charming slice of indie horror, Late Phases, directed by Adrian Garcia Bogliano, is the quirky and unusually heartfelt story of a disabled veteran werewolf, which proves as scary as it is funny, and poignant to boot. What a combination, eh? This endlessly original 2014 film reimagines the by now old hat lycanthropy as puberty story in more left field terms, folks. This time, it's the late in life body transformations that werewolves are compared to, and our hero's fears of losing bodily autonomy are effectively mirrored by the arrival of the full moon in this strange and moving story. We're recommending a lot of werewolf movies here, but I also want to know which werewolf movie would you recommend to someone that you don't feel enough people have watched? Let me know in the comments right down below. Number 2, Howl. Forget snakes on a plane. Did you know British horror filmmakers put werewolves on a train? Yes, 2015's indie horror Howl took the method of mass transport and combined it with the complementary onboard monster it has always needed. And the result was a resounding success. The flick deserved more love for its superb high-concept premise alone, wherein a full moon rises as passengers are trapped aboard a train, and they're forced to fend for themselves against a monstrous werewolf invasion. Yep, utterly terrifying stuff, and it sounds like the worst commute ever. Despite its limited budget, this flick manages to live up to the potential of its killer conceit, resulting in a thrilling movie which deserved more plaudits than its direct-to-video ignominy. So watch it, and then send plaudits. Number 1, Wolfcop. Come on, the clue's in the title with this one. How can anyone turn down the premise of Wolfcop? You can't, it's impossible. Released in 2014 and earning itself a sequel in 2017, this silly, occasionally spooky but always amusing crime, comedy, horror movie manages to combine werewolves with buddy cop procedurals to funny, fast-paced effect. Absurd and hilarious, this slow burn flick starts off at a stately pace. Well, I mean a stately pace as far as werewolf cop thrillers go, taking care to set up the stakes and get the audience invested despite its inherently silly premise. Before long though, Wolfcop builds up a hysterical head of steam with a story that manages to bring in ageless shapeshifters, reptilians, and killer criminals, as well as the eponymous anti-hero. How can you possibly resist all that? So do yourself a favor and spend some time with this Wolfcop. And spend some more time with us here at What Culture Horror by continuing your YouTube journey with us. Just tap on another video right in front of your eyes, and the good times are going to keep on coming. Oh, what a life this is. I'll see you next time, if you're not eaten by a werewolf or something. Hopefully not.